Hey, hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? It's El Profesor here, and this time in this video, I want to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the EBSCO or article assignment. So this is going to be the second assignment that you have to work on for the session. Of course, I already told you quite a bit about the mission system SLO one. The book review assignment is the one that's after the EBSCO one, and I don't think I need to make a video for you about that. That's fairly self-explanatory. And as for the U.S.-Mexico War assignment, I've got a video which I did for, I can't remember if it was either for this class or for my Southwestern College class, but it was a little over a year ago, so that video will hold up just fine for our purposes. I'll have that for you within the next couple of weeks. Before we get into talking a little bit more about EBSCO, I want to go ahead and show you a special guest here. Okay. Never mind that. She's kind of camera shy, but it was my gray kitty London. She was right here as I was starting the video, but I think she noticed that that I was recording, and she has a sixth sense. So anytime that I do something suspicious, whether it's try to put her on camera or more importantly take her to the vet, that's what she does her hiding routine, and that's what she was doing. But I'm sure you'll see her in other videos as the session proceeds. Well, before we get to taking a look at EBSCO, let's quickly go over a couple of basic parameters here. In terms of topics that you're to cover, of course, I've got all the information listed right here on the assignment worksheet. So again, if you haven't downloaded this already or looked at it, then please take care of it. Take care of it at your earliest opportunity. The focus of the assignment is on topics related more toward the first part, the first to 2/3 of the class. So we're talking about the Mesoamerican components. So of course the Aztecs, the Maya, the Toltecs, the Teotihuacan, and then on into Spanish colonialism. So whether it's Cortés and his men coming, of course, into Tenochtitlan, the establishment of New Spain, which was the Spanish colony at the time. And then of course branching out into other parts of what we now know as the American Southwest. So whether it was establishment of missions in, say, California, New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, those places, that's the focus of the topic. So in other words, keep your focus of topics within about the first 1/2 to 2/3 of the session. Bypass all the stuff in which we get into, say, the independence of Mexico, and of course the U.S.-Mexico War, and of course topics pertaining to the United States in general. Avoid all that, but again, keep your focus in on Mesoamerica and also Spanish colonialism, whether it's in Mexico itself or in the American Southwest. Then you'll have no trouble getting going on the assignment. In terms of the due date, it's going to be coming up on Friday, September 26th, so at the end of the month. So that's going to put us at about 3.5 weeks down the road. In this paper, I will accept late papers, but with a 1-grade deduction. So if you turn in your paper on October 3rd, I'll take it, but there'll be a 1-grade penalty. So basically, if you want to make sure you get the full points, get it into me on Friday, September 26th by midnight, 11:59 p.m. In terms of page length, keep it within 5 to 7 pages. And again, you can use the title page if you want, but the title page does not count as part of the 5 to 7 pages. I've had many cases over the years in which people try to get away and have a title page and then maybe give me about 4.5 pages of text. But because they try to sneak in the title page as part of the 5 to 7 pages, I mark them down first. So please don't fall into that trap. Title page does not count as part of the 5 to 7 pages. It's got to be 5 to 7 pages of full straight text. Now, if you go a little bit longer, if you're a little bit more ambitious and you go upwards about 8.5 pages, that's fine. I will definitely accept that if you get to that length. But please try not to go try not to go beyond that. So anything that goes on for about 9-10 pages, most likely I'll begin to mark down because of excessive repetition. And just belaboring the point and not really focusing it on your point. But again, if you keep your focus within about 5 to 7 pages of text, you'll be in good shape. In terms of the formatting, obviously it has to be in something that I can read. So Microsoft Word, that's Doc or DocX, Apple Pages, RTF format, even PDF. Those formats are perfectly acceptable. So please avoid a lot of the old software, which I don't even know is still around to this day. I'm talking about things like Microsoft Works and WordPerfect. I think this stuff goes back to about the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, so this stuff might have fallen by the wayside. But again, avoid a lot of those earlier software programs. As long as you stick with Microsoft Word and Apple Pages, then you'll be in great shape. And finally, in terms of content, obviously I want to see a summary of the main points of what the article is all about. But don't just give me an entire summary. I want to know your commentary, your perspective, your thoughts about it. So what I'd like for everybody to do is try to keep your paper within, say, a 60%, 40% split between summary versus commentary, or 70%, 30%, even upwards of, say, 75 to 25%. That'll be absolutely fine. So in other words, 3/4 of your paper summary of your article and 1/4 of a commentary. That's a good split. In fact, that's about the most that I'll accept. Anything beyond that, so in other words, if let's say you submit your paper and your paper comes in at 6 pages, but if you give me something with, say, 5.5 pages of summary and a half page of commentary, you're going to get marked down. You're going to get marked down severely. Maybe the highest you'll get will be a B- or a C+. So please avoid that trap. I see that happening time and time again. Every session, I get papers with a straight summary and only one little bit of commentary at the very end, and then I point that out in the comments, and the individuals get upset about this. Say, Professor, what happened here? I thought I did everything you asked for. Then I say, did you look at my assignment guidelines? Did you watch my video on the topic? And then the student says, oh, I'm sorry, Professor, I just totally missed that, or I wasn't paying attention. So please, don't fall into that trap. I want, of course, majority commentary of summary, but not the entire paper. So again, if you keep your split, say, at about maybe 60%, 40%, or 75-25% in terms of summary versus commentary, you'll be in great shape, and you'll be in great position to get a high grade for your paper. So again, my point is, I want you to make sure that you have at least a good portion of substantial commentary, which you tell me exactly what you thought about the article, your perspective of it, how it fit with the context of the class, what you thought of the author's perspective, his or her methodology, blah, 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 that type of thing. So please follow that, and you'll have no trouble getting a good grade on this assignment. But again, everybody, to recap all those the fine print, the major details, just review the assignment worksheet, and you'll be good to go. You'll be in great shape. Okay, well, let's go ahead and start looking at EBSCO. Let's find some articles, and to do that, of course, I have to tilt the camera. So because I kind of switched the angle here a little bit more, let me stand up for a bit and move the camera, and then we'll get on into EBSCO. Okay, and just my screensaver here, that's Huntington Library up toward Pasadena and San Marino, actually. Really nice place. A lot of amazing architecture and artwork, sculptures, gardens. That was the library that the famous Huntington family, Henry Huntington, who was a magnate in the railroad, the light rail trolley car industry back in the turn of the century in Los Angeles. This was, you might say, his domain, his castle, his way of essentially giving back to the community with philanthropy, with gardens, and of course library. That's what I was trying to get out. Okay, all right, let's get out of this. Let's get out of the screensaver, and let's go ahead and check out EBSCO. And of course, let your eyes adjust to the change in brightness here. Okay, here's the link to, here's the page to the Mesa College article and reference database. And I've got this in the web link section. So if you want to track this down, you've got two places to look. You can look right there on the assignment worksheet, or in the web link section right there on Blackboard. So the web link section to this area is working just fine. So without further ado, let's go ahead and open up the EBSCO area. All right, EBSCO is the first entry right there at the very top. So let's go ahead and click that, everybody, and see what we can find. Okay, of course, you do have to log into the system. So let me just tilt the camera off to the right a little bit here, and I will go ahead and put in my information. So it's your CSID number and then your last name. Okay, here we go. Here's what EBSCO looks like. So you've got your research your search page indicating, of course, what topic you want to find, but also you've got some search options too, and that's what I have indicated right there at the in about the second portion of the assignment worksheet. I've got information right there listed in a bullet list, and that bullet list information is what I'm going to talk to you about right now. So to get things started, at the very top, we want our search modes and expanders, and Boolean phrase is one of the best search modes search modes out there. So let's keep that. It's already indicated there for us. So let's keep it as it is and go down to the next portion. We want to make sure that we find articles that are in full text. That is the entirety of the text, not just an abstract, which basically says this article talks about blah 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 and the Maya architecture at Tikal and Palenque and these sites and the new literature, and then that's the end of your entry. No, by full text you're going to get the full text, the entire article, which of course is what we need, and we're going to get full text in either PDF or HTML format. Scholarly peer review, we've got to click that as well. That tells us that these are articles which are checked off by fellow scholars, by peers in the field. So for example, let's say there's a professor at UC Santa Barbara. She has a great new story about the Zapotecs and about their mythology, and about how their architecture reflects their sense of a mythology and time and place. And she puts her article out there in any of the various scholarly journals that are floating around. And you have other scholars from, say, places like University of Texas, Michigan State, North Dakota State, whatever, Washington State, and these professors say, yes, Professor Valenzuela, she did a great job on this. She's one of the new up-and-coming stars in the field. I look forward to seeing more innovative and intriguing work from her, blah, 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 that type of thing. So when you have other scholars have all these glowing reviews about what this one professor, this one instructor did, that's what we mean by peer-reviewed. So what this means is that this is stuff that's checked off by others within that field, and it shows that it's a legitimate article, it's a reputable article, so it's definitely something you should check out. So when we click scholarly, that means we're going to find articles in that vein. Okay, a little bit more down here where it says special limiters for academic search complete. Let me just zoom in a little bit here so you can get a better look. Where it says special limiters, we want to click periodical. And of course, we want to make sure that an article is at least 8 pages. So to do that, we switch where it says all, click the drop down menu, and then click where it says greater than, and then to the right punch in a 7. Because of course, if you remember from elementary school, junior high, math, algebra, whatever, anything that's greater, 8 is greater than 7. So obviously, if we type in greater than 2, we're going to get stuff that's at least 8 pages long, upwards of say 10, 15, 20, 30, even 40, 50 pages. Most likely, probably want anything in that excessive of length, but usually articles I've seen vary in range from about 10 pages to about 20, 25. That's about the average length that I've seen so far. So I think anything in that vein will work out just fine. But again, make sure your article is at least 8 pages. So to do that, we have to make sure that we have greater than 7. And let me see what else I need to mention here. Okay, don't worry about the other stuff down here below that. That's for more specific searches. We're really doing more of a general search. So without further ado, let's go ahead and type in a topic. And let's say some of you really want to check out the Aztecs. You're interested in about their architecture, their religion, their society, what types of foods they had, customs, clothing, folklore, whatever music they might have had, weapons of war, that type of thing. So let's go ahead and punch in a general search. So to do that, at the very top, let's type in the word Aztecs and see what kind of things we find. Okay, and then once we have our topic, Aztecs, click the green search button, and let's just let the chips fall where they may, so to speak. Okay, here we go. We've got quite a lot of articles here. We've got 525 different items to choose from. And we're wondering if all of these will be suitable for the assignment. This first one right here talks about the gray-tailed grackle, which is actually a bird. So if you're into ornithology, then maybe this one, number one, might be interesting here. This one right here, calculating the transfer function of noise removal, it looks like it's more scientific. So if you're really more of a scientifically inclined person, then maybe that one might be interesting as well. Okay, this one number 3 looks like it's written in German, so you probably want to go and avoid that. And this one here, der Cortes and our Cortes, that looks interesting too. And number 5 right here looks like it's more of a Spanish colonialism topic, because it's called the subheading, or the part of the title is called "The Mixed Heritage of New Spain's Monjas Coronadas," that is, crowned nuns. So anytime you see something that says New Spain, that means it's part of the Spanish colonial period. That is, Mexico at that time was called New Spain, after that is, from about the mid-16th century all the way up until about the 1810s, when, of course, Hidalgo and Morelos were on the scene with the whole independence movement. So let's see if either of these articles will work out just fine, and then we'll go and proceed from here. Now, number 1, again, this one about the birds, the grackles. There's the author. It's Paul Haymek, or Haymek. I'm not quite sure exactly how his name is pronounced. It's 17 pages, because if you zoom in right here where it says, let's let it focus a little bit here, where we have P 59 to 75 and then 17P, that means 17 pages. So every time you see the number and the P after, that means that tells you how many pages it's worth. So it's 17 pages. That's obviously much more than 8 pages. So that seems interesting, but we got a bit of a problem here, because afterwards, where the author's name is Paul Haymek, again, I'm not quite sure how he pronounces it, you notice that there's a word right there called neobiota, and neobiota sounds like something that pertains more to biology, a scientific journal. So if you look at neobiota, you look at that term, and again, it's a term in italics. So pay close attention to the terms in italics in each of the entries. You look at the term neobiota and compare that to the list of journals I have listed here in the assignment worksheet. I've got 6 journals listed, but neobiota is not one of those. So what that means is that this article cannot be used for the assignment, because neobiota is a journal and that's not part of the authorized list. Now, before I proceed further, let me make one clarification here. When I say the term journal, that means magazine. That means that's the actual item which has the series of articles. So much like, say, an issue of Sports Illustrated. Let's say a new issue of Sports Illustrated has articles about I don't know, Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers, about Peyton Manning, about Wayne Gretzky and what he's doing and what he's done in the years he's been out of the National Hockey League, and articles about Monet Davis, of course, the little girl who was the one of the stars in the Little League World Series. So in Sports Illustrated, you've got various articles about different sports people. So Sports Illustrated is the name of the magazine or journal or periodical. So when I say the term periodical, journal, and magazine, that means that means the same thing. So what you're doing in EBSCO is that EBSCO is the database. EBSCO is like the big house which has all kinds of rooms, and the journals or the magazines, those are the rooms. And then the articles are the actual items you find in the room. So whether it's a chair, a computer, a printer, a filing cabinet, a sofa, a litter box for where the kiddies can use the facilities, so to speak. So you get the idea, everybody. Journal means magazine, and journal also means periodical. So the 3 terms, journal, magazine, periodical, those mean essentially the same thing, and it's those things which have a collection of articles. So don't get confused by all of that. I've had some questions about that in the past, so I hope that what I'm saying right now clears everything up. So what you're looking for in EBSCO is the articles, but the articles are in journals or magazines, and again, the journals are indicated in the entry. That is, there are the terms in the italics, the slanted words right there. So pay close attention to that, everybody, because again, I've had people in the past get confused about that. So hopefully what I've said right now in the past few minutes clears all of that up. All right, let's go into number 2. And this is about something about the issue of noise removal. And a lot of different authors, right? It looks like there are about 6 or 7 different authors. And then next to it is the phrase, and let me get out of the screensaver here. Okay, next to it is the phrase, monthly notices of the Royal Astronomical Society. That's the name of the journal. That's obviously nowhere near to what we're going to be looking at here. So scratch it off the list. That article is definitely something you don't want to touch. And this one by number 3 looks like it's might be written in German, so you want to avoid that altogether. Now number 4 is an interesting case. It's called Der Cortes and Ar Cortes. It's Spanish colonialism and Aztec representation. It's written by the name of Michael Schreffler, and it's in a journal called Art Bulletin. Now, even though I don't have Art Bulletin on the list, I'm going to add it. So this is one article that you can definitely use for the assignment. So anything that's from the Art Bulletin journal, go ahead and use that, because in Mesoamerica there's various representations of art in many ways, shapes, or forms. So if you want to go ahead and work on that, please feel free to go ahead and use that one. So again, even though Art Bulletin, the journal, is not part of the list on the worksheet, I'm going to add it right now, so that's one you can definitely use. But let's go to number 5 to wrap up here. And it's written by James Cordova, and it's from a journal called the Colonial Latin American Review. And let's see if you guys can get a focus here. Let me just... Okay, so Colonial Latin American Review, that's the name of the journal. Is that on the list? Let's go ahead and check. Yes, it is. It's the first journal that's listed right there at the very top of the journals I've got listed with that bullet list. So anything by Colonial Latin American Review, that's definitely suitable. So number 5 is one choice you can definitely explore. So obviously go ahead and use that. And if we dig a little bit deeper right here, it's pages 189 to 218. That's 30 pages. Definitely more than 8 pages. So yes, this also qualifies as something you can use, not just because it's from the Colonial Latin American Review, but it's 30 pages. All right, let's do one more quick thing right here before we go and wrap things up. Let's say you want to find a journal or find an article from the journal called Ethnohistory. Ethnohistory is one of the journals I've got listed here. It's number 2 on the list on the worksheet. So let's do a new search, and we'll just go ahead and backtrack, go to the back page, and let's use all our parameters like we did before. So again, Boolean, full text scholarly, periodical, and greater than 7 pages. And let's go ahead and try a new search. Let's go ahead and type in, let's say Maya. Okay, let's try that. And we want to zero in a search to the journal Ethnohistory, or publication Ethnohistory. So where it says publication, write in the word ethnohistory. Okay, there we go. So what's going to happen is we're going to get a search of articles specifically from the Ethnohistory magazine or the Ethnohistory journal. So that's going to limit our search. We're not going to get over 500 entries. Maybe we might get only 30, 25, 22, something to that effect. But these will all be articles within the journal called Ethnohistory. So we've got all our items in place, ready to go. Again, we've got Mayas up here at the top. Let's click search and see what that leads us to. Okay, perfect. Looks like we got quite a good selection right here. All these from the journal called Ethnohistory. This first one right here, it's 31 pages. Choice 2, that's 30 pages. And the choice 3 is 44 pages. So obviously everything here is well beyond the 8-page threshold. So any of those is fine. I'll just scroll down a little bit more. Choice 4 is 28 pages. And choice 5 is 31 pages. So if I want to get something a little bit more ambitious, about 20 pages or more, then looks like these ethnohistory articles about the Maya will fit in just fine. Okay, well with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up right here. Again, it's another long video, but like I've been telling everybody, all my classes this semester, I know these nuts and bolts videos tend to get a bit lengthy, but that's because I want to try to explain everything as detailed as possible. So if you're confused about something, I'm going to refer to you to look at the videos, and maybe, and of course, maybe people might have tendency to tune out after about 10 minutes, but stick with it, because everything that basically you need to know about the assignment, I'm going to explain right here in full detail. And I know in my Grossman classes, I had some individuals get concerned about one assignment. I tell them to watch the video, and I don't hear back from them. So I'm assuming that the videos seem to work and explain it helped answer the question. So I'm hoping that's going to be that's the case here, and for my Southwestern classes as well. So I think with that, that's going to be the last of the nuts and bolts videos that I'll have for you for the rest of the semester. Oh yeah, the U.S.-Mexico one, that's an old video. I'll have that for you next week or so. But with that, I think our work is done here. So again, any concerns or questions about this assignment, let me know as soon as possible. Again, you've got about 3 weeks to work with before this thing is due. This is again September 26th. So once you start thinking about what article you want to work on, let me know as soon as possible. Let me know through messages for Professor, or send me your article too. So if you want to use my email to send me your articles, the PDF copies of your articles, then by all means go ahead and do it. Oh, one more quick thing too. You see in the PDF full text icon, you can download the articles. You can download them. You can view them. You can email them to yourselves. Most of your articles will appear in PDF format. Others will be in HTML. So when they're in HTML, don't panic. You just have about 2 or 3 additional steps you need to work on. So once you do that, then you can get your article with no problem at all. So with that, that's going to do it from here. That's it from the French Valley home headquarters. You guys take care for the rest of the week, and I'll come back again and I'll talk to you guys again very, very soon.